I promise you, God will convince you that everything you need is in him. No one thought they needed more things for life than me. I promise you, growing up, right? I thought, everything's got to be done right in order to have life. You have to win every game at the birthday party in order for everything to be okay. Imagine that kind of thing, right? Especially if you're playing those games with like 2-year-olds. They can't carry an egg on a spoon. You're never going to get across the line. You're never going to get the prize or the victory that you need. It's okay if you find yourself filled with thoughts thinking you don't have what you need. God doesn't despise you. He understands the cry in your heart for life. Just start talking with him. He will convince you actually that everything you need is really in him. He actually can convince you of that. He can actually prove it to you. And you could debate him, you could argue with him, you could try to convince him over and over how he's wrong, and he'll never become discouraged, he'll never be frustrated. He'll just keep showing you, he'll keep unwrapping or peeling away the onion that is your heart, and eventually what you'll be left with is you'll actually believe everything you need is in him. And you start to find satisfaction, right? You start to find peace, you start to find contentment, you start to find yourself being able to enjoy life. You start to be able to see life through the eyes of God. Right? And you start to find the life of God pouring out of you in the situations you're walking in. Right? And so I just encourage you, whatever it is you think you need, whatever, because we all facing stuff. Right? Maybe some of you might be having a good week. And so everything's good right now. Well, hallelujah. But I promise you, your situation going good, that's not the power unto you having life. And so just get caught up in this conversation with God about how everything you need is in him. And start talking with him about showing you that. And start showing him all the things you think are in the way of you having what you need. Don't pretend like, well, that's the right answer, so I'm going to give the right answer. This isn't a test. God's not giving you a test. I know we've been taught that God tests us. That's not what the scriptures say. In fact, James come and said, God can't tempt anyone, which means to test. Like he don't already know what you're going to do. We don't think about the things we say, right? And we just we just see these words interpret in the Bible, and we don't go and look into, well, what does that word actually mean? Well, God tested Abraham. Well, no, he didn't. It says he proved what was in Abraham's heart because he saw that in Abraham's heart was faith towards him. And what he did was he brought that faith out into the earth so everybody could see. And do you know what that faith was? God will provide himself a lamb. God can even raise the dead. And God saw that was in his heart, and God proved that heart. He proved it to the world. He didn't test him. It's not a test. So if you think you got something in your life that you can't see, how do I have everything I need in God when this is going on? Then come to him with boldness and show him and tell him. How can it be true? I don't feel like it's true. Look, don't you see? And just engage with him. It's called the dance. Right?